Welcome to my story, a tale of a hunting trip that began like any other, but quickly ventured into the unknown. Picture the vast, untouched wilderness of the American backcountry, where nature's beauty often conceals its darker secrets. The sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the forest floor. At the edge of the woods, a chill in the air whispered of eerie events to come. The birds' songs seemed distant, as if they sensed what lay ahead. I took a deep breath, savoring the crisp air, unaware of the horrors lurking beyond. This trip was meant to be a retreat from life's chaos, a chance to connect with nature and test my skills. Yet, as I delved deeper into the woods, unease crept in. It was subtle at first, like a faint rustle in the underbrush or the snap of a twig, but it gnawed at my consciousness. I introduced myself not just as a storyteller, but as someone who has lived this tale, a tale that still haunts me. The purpose was simple: hunt, explore, and find peace. However, what I encountered was far from peaceful. In those early moments, navigating the dense forest, there was a lure in the solitude. My only company was my thoughts and the occasional call of a distant animal. Yet even in isolation, I felt watched, as if unseen eyes followed my every move. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, a breathtaking sight that should have been calming, yet only heightened my anxiety. With the fading light came an unfamiliar fear that settled into my bones. Driven by an inexplicable urge, I pressed on to uncover whatever lay hidden in these woods. The deeper I went, the more oppressive the silence became, broken only by the soft crunch of leaves beneath my boots. This is where my story begins, where reality and nightmare blur. Join me as we journey deeper into this tale of suspense and terror. For what awaits in the dark corners of these woods is something neither you nor I could ever truly prepare for. Stay with me as we venture further into the unknown, where every shadow holds a secret and every sound could be your last. The true horror is just beginning to unfold. In the early hours of dawn, the forest lay shrouded in a tranquil mist, whispering promises of a serene hunting adventure. Each step crunched softly against fallen leaves, the air crisp with the earthy scent of pine. Yet beneath this peaceful facade, an unsettling sensation lingered. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to unfold. I paused to take in my surroundings, noting how sunlight dappled through the thick canopy. But then, a chill ran down my spine, not the cool morning breeze, but an inexplicable unease creeping into my thoughts. A sudden rustle in the distance caught my attention. Could it be a deer or something more sinister? The calm atmosphere seemed to whisper warnings I couldn't quite decipher. As I continued, every sound and movement became amplified in the forest's stillness. This was just the beginning, a gentle nudge from the forest hinting at the horrors yet to come. As I pressed on, unaware of the nightmares lurking ahead, a sense of foreboding settled in, setting the stage for what would soon unravel. As I ventured deeper into the dense forest, an unsettling silence enveloped me. The usual chorus of nature fell eerily quiet, each step crunching louder in the stillness. It was then that I stumbled upon something strange, a pattern of stones, perfectly aligned in a circle on the forest floor. My heart pounded, a chill creeping up my spine as the reality of this bizarre discovery sank in. The air around me thickened, a palpable tension hanging heavy. My breath quickened, a primal instinct warning of unseen dangers lurking in the shadows. It was as if the forest itself holding its breath, waiting. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows that danced menacingly among the trees. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, a presence just beyond my sight, hidden yet undeniably there. This was no ordinary hunting trip. It was something much darker. The horror had begun to reveal itself, whispering from the wood's depths. With fear gripping my senses, I realized this was only the beginning of a nightmare unfolding. The unease would only grow, drawing me further into the forest's chilling embrace. As the day crept on, an unsettling presence seemed to shadow my every move. The once serene woods now whispered tales of dread, their rustling leaves echoing like hushed warnings. Each step forward felt like a descent into the unknown, the air growing thicker, suffocating, as if alive with unseen eyes. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, a prickling sensation crawling up my spine. Unusual occurrences punctuated the silence, branches snapping in deliberate patterns, shadows dancing just beyond my sight. the forest became a labyrinth of fear, its paths twisting with malevolent intent. With every breath, tension coiled tighter, an invisible hand gripping my throat with the promise of something sinister lurking in the dark. I constantly looked over my shoulder, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm matching the growing terror within. The boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred as events escalated. It was clear now, I wasn't alone in these woods. Something was there, drawing closer with each moment. This was only the beginning of a horror yet to fully reveal itself. As I trudged deeper into the woods, a chilling realization swept over me. Subtle signs had been gnawing at my subconscious, rustles in the underbrush that didn't match the wind's rhythm, and shadows that lingered too long. Now, amidst the towering pines, the truth hit me like a bolt of lightning. The serene beauty of the forest had become a facade, hiding something sinister just beyond the daylight's veil. My breath caught as the puzzle pieces clicked into place. The unease building was not paranoia, it was a primal warning. Panic surged through my veins, cold and electrifying, as I grasped the true threat stalking me. It wasn't my imagination, something was out there, watching, waiting. My instincts screamed to run before it was too late. In that moment of clarity, fear became my closest companion. Every snap of a twig, every whisper of wind was amplified, each sound a potential harbinger of doom. Standing alone in the vast wilderness, I weighed my options. Running could mean safety, but also vulnerability, exposing my back to the lurking malevolence. Confrontation was equally daunting. The unknown is often more terrifying than any tangible threat. My heart pounded, each beat echoing like a drum in the silence. I knew I had to choose quickly. Realizing I was not alone, that something unnatural shared this space, was paralyzing. Amidst the fear, there was a strange calm, a moment where time stretched and slowed. In that suspended reality, I understood every decision counted. This clarity forced me to act, to decide whether to let fear dictate my actions or rise to confront whatever lay ahead. With a deep breath, I steeled myself for what was to come, knowing this decision would shape the rest of my story. The woods were silent once more, as if holding their breath in anticipation of my next move. And so, I turned to face the threat, or perhaps my own fears, head on, stepping into the unknown with a resolve forged from terror and clarity alike. In the thick of the forest, the air felt suffocating. Every breath was laced with fear, each step weighed down by a sense of dread. The realization of the true horror set my heart pounding, a relentless drum echoing in my ears. There was no turning back. I had to act, and fast. Panic gripped me as I frantically searched for escape. Shadows closed in, the trees whispering threats of the horror lurking beyond my sight. My mind raced, adrenaline pumping, urging me forward. I stumbled through the underbrush, each twig snapped beneath my feet, sounding like a thunderclap in the silence. Behind me, I felt the presence gaining ground, a sinister force refusing to relent. The forest seemed to conspire against me, each branch and root a trap. In a desperate bid for freedom, I veered off the path, hoping to outmaneuver whatever haunted me. But with every turn, every breathless sprint, the threat grew closer, its presence oppressive and unyielding. My muscles burned, fear fueling my flight. Then a glimmer of hope, a clearing ahead. Salvation seemed within reach. But as I dashed forward, a chilling realization struck. The clearing could be a trap, an exposed arena where escape was impossible. Yet, hesitation was not an option. Hesitation meant doom. Gasping for air, I burst into the open space, scanning for shelter or a way out. The world spun around me, senses overwhelmed by fear and survival instincts battling within. Suddenly, from the corner of my eye, a glimpse of movement. The threat was not far behind. I spun around, heart pounding with urgency. There was no time to think, only react. With every ounce of strength and determination, I pushed onward. The forest blurred past in a haze of green and shadow as I raced against the inevitable. My mind screamed for escape, every nerve alive with terror. As I hurtled forward, my only thought was survival. The horror loomed larger in my mind, an unstoppable force that would not be denied. Yet even in desperation, there was hope that somehow I'd find a way through. And so, with fear as my constant companion and adrenaline my guide, I pressed on, into the unknown, toward whatever fate awaited beyond the darkness. With my heart pounding like a drum, I stumbled through the dense underbrush, branches clawing at my clothes as if trying to pull me back into the nightmare. Adrenaline coursed through my veins like wildfire until I burst into an open clearing. The silence of the forest was now a comforting blanket, but it couldn't drown out echoes of my racing heartbeat or the haunting memories of what had transpired. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig seemed amplified in the eerie stillness. Even in this moment of relief, fear lingered beneath the surface, refusing to let go. It clung to me like a shadow, whispering reminders of the terror that had gripped me, the horror that lurked just out of sight. I paused to catch my breath, leaning against a weathered tree for support. The bark was rough under my fingertips, grounding me back in reality. But as I stood there, gulping in the cool morning air, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Reflection settled in, mingling with relief and fear. How had things spiraled so quickly? What had I encountered in those woods? My mind wrestled with these questions, searching for answers amidst the chaos. The experience had changed me. It left an indelible mark on my soul, a reminder of the thin line between life and death. Though I had escaped the immediate danger, its shadow loomed large, casting tendrils into my thoughts. As I stood, listening to the distant call of a bird breaking the morning silence, I knew this was more than just a close call. It was a wake-up call. A reminder of nature's untamed wildness and my own vulnerability. With one last look at the forest behind me, I turned away, each step taking me further from those haunting woods and closer to safety. Yet, deep down, I knew this was not the end. As I sit here, reflecting on that harrowing hunting trip, a chill still runs down my spine. The woods, once a place of solace and adventure, have taken on a darker hue in my memories. I recall the crisp morning air, the rustle of leaves underfoot, and the eerie silence that whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. Looking back, I see the subtle signs I missed. The bird's sudden silence, the unsettling rustle in the bushes, felt more like a warning than a mere animal's presence. These clues, unnoticed at the time, now paint a vivid picture of the ominous presence lurking just beyond my sight. The experience was more than a frightful tale. It was a lesson in vigilance and respect for the unknown. I learned that fear is not merely an enemy, but a guide, urging us to heed our instincts and trust our gut feelings when reason falters. Yet, despite the terror that enveloped me, I grapple with unresolved fears. Questions linger like shadows at dusk. What exactly haunted those woods? Was it a creature of flesh and blood, or something beyond comprehension? These thoughts swirl in my mind, leaving behind an unsettling residue. They remind me that the world is not as safe or predictable as we often believe. There are forces out there, be they natural or supernatural, that lie beyond our understanding. In sharing this story, I hope to convey the gravity of those moments and their profound impact on me. It's as if a veil has lifted, revealing the thin line between our everyday reality and the mysteries lurking in its shadows. I carry these lessons with me, an indelible mark on my psyche. They shape how I approach life and nature, instilling a cautious respect for the unseen and the unknown. Yet, despite everything, there is a strange allure to the experience, a curiosity about what lies beyond the veil of fear. As I conclude my tale, I invite you to ponder your own encounters with the unknown. What fears lie dormant within you, waiting to be awakened, and how might they shape your journey through this world? Join me in this reflection as we transition to what lingers in the aftermath of fear, a testament to our resilience and our perpetual quest for understanding. As I recount this tale, a chill still runs down my spine. Even now, the shadows of that day follow me like a haunting specter, refusing to fade into forgotten memories. The forest, once a sanctuary, now looms large in my mind, a place of unresolved fears and unanswered questions. What exactly did I encounter out there? Was it simply an animal driven by instinct, or something more sinister, lurking beyond understanding? These questions echo in my mind, whispering doubts that refuse to be silenced. Each rustle of leaves, each snap of a twig, brings back the visceral fear I felt, an uncertainty clinging to me like a second skin. The impact of that experience has woven itself into my life. No longer do I tread lightly into the woods as I once did. Now, every hunting trip is shadowed by the specter of what could be waiting beyond my sight. Each step is measured, each sound analyzed. as if by understanding the forest's language, I might keep its darker secrets at bay. Yet, despite this newfound caution, I find myself drawn back to the wilderness time and again. Perhaps it's the thrill of the hunt or an unspoken challenge to confront my fears and emerge victorious. Whatever the reason, the woods call to me, their eerie beauty and lurking danger, a siren song I can't resist. As I bring this story to a close, I leave you with a lingering sense of dread, a reminder that not all stories are neatly resolved. Some fears are meant to remain just out of reach, shaping us in ways we may never comprehend. So, the next time you venture into the unknown, remember my tale and tread carefully. For sometimes, it's not what we see that haunts us, but what remains hidden in the shadows. Thank you for joining me on this journey into darkness. May your adventures be filled with excitement and discovery, but also with caution and respect for the mysteries that lie beyond understanding. Until next time, stay safe and keep your wits about you because you never know what might be watching from just beyond the trees.